Hi everybody and welcome back to the channel. So in this week's video, I'm going to be talking about 3 things that I've learned since I started doing photography. So this video is brought to you in association with summer, which is perhaps some photographers' least favourite time of the year. But this brings me to my first important learning. And that is to enjoy the process of photography. So what do I mean by that? Well, what I mean is don't put 100% emphasis just on the final shot, because in that way you may end up just disappointed every time you go out and take photos. Instead, enjoy the process of coming out into the field, and it doesn't matter whether you're doing landscape or urban or a mix between the two, whatever you like to photograph, but enjoy the process of coming out, being in the surroundings and looking for shots that you want to take, even if you don't get the weather conditions that you want, even if you don't end up with photos that are what you deem to be amazing or what other people may deem to be amazing. So this is quite nice. There's a field here with some crops growing. I don't know whether that's going to be wheat or barley. It's still pretty green, to be honest. But you got the nice tractor lines running through it. So that's really what I'm going to concentrate on. There's some clouds around, but to be honest, I'm kind of focusing in a little bit, deleting the sky from this shot, because I really want to focus in on the different tones of green, which of course is what we're going to get certainly early summer, and just the tractor lines running through it as well. There's some old electricity pylons just to add a bit of character to the shot too. But yeah, it's just a question of playing around with the shot, looking for something that works really well, making sure that, you know, the eye is led through the shot using the lines. I might experiment with a couple of shots with the sky. I'm not too sure that adds anything really. Although the grey of the sky plus the green might do. If I take it, I'll show it. So one of my other learnings is not to get obsessed with base ISO. When I first started doing photography, I saw so many videos saying use ISO 100 or whatever your lowest ISO is on the camera. But of course, it's not as simple as that, is it? Today is a great example of where I cannot shoot at ISO 100 because it is a breezy day. I need to adjust the ISO upwards to get a fast enough shutter speed. Now, fast enough shutter speed doesn't mean to say I want to freeze the motion, but fast enough to get me at a minimum level of motion in the photo. If I really want to freeze everything today, I'm going to have to increase the ISO by quite a lot. But I don't really want to do that because I want to capture a little bit of motion. I don't want everything to be sharp front to back. It's really not that important to me. So I'm quite happy to go up to ISO 200, ISO 250, 320 sometimes, even 400. And most modern cameras, you won't actually notice much of a difference if you're shooting at those ISO levels. Now, as you know, I also sometimes put grain on my photos. So if I'm putting grain on it, I certainly don't worry too much about the ISO level. Now, this is a Z5 that I'm using. It does struggle if you get up into the thousands. There is a noticeable drop off in quality of the overall shot. But for daytime photography, you know, handheld or tripod, use the correct ISO to achieve what you want with the photo. Don't get obsessed with keeping it at the base level of your camera. So the other thing I've learned is to be quicker when out in the field. And I've learned this particularly since I stopped doing traditional landscape photography. So in the past, I would go out making sure that I was base ISO, in this case ISO 100, and then spend a lot of time thinking, oh, do I need to shoot this at f7.1, f8, f9, f11? And the problem is, I was looking at my camera, trying to punch in the settings, and by the time I looked up, the scene would have changed. The lighting conditions may have changed. Maybe the weather conditions generally, maybe it started raining. Maybe somebody entered the scene that I didn't want in the shot, or something else came along. I once had a situation where I looked up and a van had literally parked right at the back of the shot. So to avoid that, a day like today, I got out of the car, set my camera up. So I set it at ISO 250, aperture mode, f8, and then took a couple of test shots just for the exposure levels. Now, because it was quite a bright day, it is early summer, so despite overcast, it still can be quite bright. So I lowered my exposure to minus 0.3. And then that's it. I'm good to go, pretty much. And that just means that everything is a lot quicker. So I'm pretty much doing what urban photographers do. And that way I'm spending more time looking at the scene, looking for the shot, and far less time looking at my camera. So this is probably going to be a shorter video, I suspect, than normal, but hey, it's summer. No one wants to watch long videos in the summer, right? As always, thank you for watching and see you next time.